Alright, we start off by clearing this off and moving everything across. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our pans ready. So you're going to need some kind of pan. This is a cast iron pan. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook the potatoes, the tofu, the garlic, and some onions. Well, it would be that easy, then we'd have it made. But nothing is ever that easy. I'm going to show you how I do it.
Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living!
So the first thing I do, just got this from the market, use my trusty knife over here, and I cut this little metal thing. Scissors probably would have been more appropriate. I'm going to about cut it in half. Yeah, like that. And I'm going to let those fall. I'm going to take the rest and put in the fridge. Okay, the next thing is, you can cook them this way. You can slice it if you wanted them to go a little faster. There's a lot of ways you can do this. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to cut the ends of the onions. Okay, so what I do is, when I have that, is I slice them down the center and I just dice them small. Next step is cutting the tofu. Now you're going to have leftover onions on your board. Just make sure that they go in the pan. Drain it. But it doesn't have to be like dry. All you're doing is going to drain the little bit of water that's inside. Then you're going to take half of it. If it was for an entire family, you would have used all those potatoes. If this is for your entire family, you use all of it. But you're going to take half of it. Make sure your hands are clean for this, of course. That's without saying. And right now you're just going to lay it back in that bowl. You need to cut this on a mat that's not wood. This I'll show you what I do with it later. I'll take this. What I do is I like to test to see how fresh the tofu is. It tastes really good. For me, tofu is just delicious. Now, before I was a vegan, there's no way on the planet that Linda could get me to even try tofu. I would ask her, is there something wrong with you? I'm not going to try that stuff. Do you know that's bean curd? But now, things have changed. Now that I'm vegan, I really enjoy it. Because I know it's going to take on the flavor of what I'm going to be cooking. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting it in chunks. I'm dicing it, maybe half-inch dice. So then what I do is I put it in the pan, like this. And I just break apart. If I see one like this, then I just simply just be careful with your knife. If it's sharp like mine are, just make sure that you're careful and you're gentle with your fingers, so that you don't cut yourself. What you don't want is blood in your food. All right, just like that. Now, normally I season all my pans and I would just cook normally like this, but today I'm going to introduce some olive oil because I want it to cook. Now the potatoes are going to take the longest time. I'm going to eat this piece. So start off with a teaspoon, and then you're going to mix it like on the sides here. Pour it on the sides, and you're going to mix it. Get all of it off if you can. Use a metal spatula And you're going to be using the oil, and you're going to mix it around the potatoes, like so. Now a teaspoon is not very much oil, so you might end up having to need more oil. And I'm thinking to make this a little better, I'm going to cut each of these potatoes like this. It will actually help out in the cooking process. It will make them easier to eat. Cool, these are purple. And just for fun, we're going to dice some of them a little bit more. See, I've got to think about how long this is going to take, and if I had a sauce with it, like a tomato sauce, then I wouldn't worry about it, because the sauce would warm up the potato, would actually cook the potato. But if it's just sitting on top of the frying pan, then that means I have to stir it all the time, which I'm probably going to have to do anyway, because I don't like to see my food burn. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So that was a purple. This is got a red skin. I'm thinking it's probably a red potato of some sort. These are probably Yukon Golds. See how beautiful and orange they are? So that's probably what they are. So instead of doing it the way I'm doing it, remember that when it's your turn, just make sure you cut them all on the board. But remember that you're the cook. You're the commander of your ship, in this case the kitchen. And if you decide you want to change something, you do it. You say, oh, you want something else inside your meal? You just put it in. You don't have to ask permission. You don't have to look at my recipe and say, I don't think I like Dijon mustard. And maybe you like yellow mustard instead. You're perfectly allowed to do that, because this is just an idea for you to see how I do different cooking. The next thing we're going to do after we get this done is we're going to cut the chard. I'm going to cut it in ribbons, just like we were if we were making a taco. So it'll be easier to warm up, easier to cook. But while we do that, we're going to start this off on the stove on low heat. No, it's pretty good. Now once we put it on the stove, start it up. We're starting the frying pan first on high, just to get the pot. It doesn't take long. And then we're going to put it down to low while we cook the chard, because it takes a little bit of time to cut up the chard into rivulets, or basically ribbons. Okay, the chard. It's very easy. Cut off the stems, use those later. Take them all out of here. What you could do, if you were in a real hurry, you could do something like what I'm doing. I'm grabbing them a bunch here and cutting all the bottoms off. And you take these out, and if you don't like the stems, then you could throw them in your compost pile. Or what I do is I use them in my soups. They're a beautiful leaf. These are fresh from my garden. I got them just yesterday. The first thing I did when I brought them home is I put them in water, just like a flower. Put them in this pot, had fresh water, so they wouldn't, start to wilt when I was in the car.
If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.